Imagine not being able to fight off a cold. That's how life is for kids with immune disorders. They can't fight off infections without plasma-based therapies, but plasma can't be made in a lab. It only comes from healthy donors like you. By donating plasma at BioLife, you're helping to improve the lives of children living with immune conditions. Sign up to donate plasma today. It's safe, easy, and kids everywhere will thank you.
Thank you.
Learn more at biolifeplasma.com.
All right. You know what time it is. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They gon' have it lit up. Yeah, you know, it's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They got the airways popping every city across the globe. It's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They gon' have it lit up. Yeah, you know, it's time for the Kevin and Nikee Show. They got the airways popping every city across the globe. You know him as a dope actor, Kevin D. Bitten. 360 twice jam, how he keep winning. And you know the baddest actress, Nikee Warren. She so bad you walking past, she had you speaking for her. If you ain't tuning in, this your reality check. You might miss out on your favorite star celebrity guest. When they celebrate, what you do, you get the bell, yeah. During Kevin's corner, get inspired and encouraged, yeah. Bend them corners while you listen, but don't swerve. Find out what's getting on Nikee nerves. What's bothering Nikee? What's bothering Nick? What's bothering Nikee? What's bothering Nick? Keep on playing. Me and Kevin goes and we gon' get you hit. Yo, check us out on social media. In your mobile phone, we everywhere. You other stations played out like a ringtone. Follow me like Bino, R-E-M-E-Y. Bino Remy. Pop like Semi. And my flow hotter. Thicker semi. Been doing this since I scraped up pennies. But back to the subject, Kevin, Nikee.
Happy Mother's Day!
Yes, it's the Mother Day edition of the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. Yes, happy Mother's Day.
I'm actor Kevin D. Benton.
And I'm actress Nikee Warren.
We are back, baby. We are back with the, what do you say? The Mother's Day?
Mother's edition of the
Mother's Day edition.
Yeah.
The
Kevin and Nikee
I like
Show.
it. I like it.
it.
Say it again, Nick. Say it one more time.
We are back with the Mother's Day edition of the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio.
Radio.
Woo! Yes. Yes.
Awesome,
Happy
awesome.
Mother's Day to all of the mommies.
Yeah.
All of the mommies out there. Happy Mother's Day. I know it's been rough because I know it was rough when you celebrated Mother's Day on Sunday. You were trying to love on your mama through this pandemic, but you got it done.
That's it.
Because I saw the photographs on Facebook and your mamas look so beautiful. Beautiful.
You're
Don't you
beautiful.
know you are
You're
my
beautiful.
favorite girl.
You're beautiful. We were singing two songs at the same time.
Beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Don't you know
Inside.
you are my
You're beautiful.
favorite girl.
You're beautiful. Was that a mix going wrong?
That was a mix. You
No,
go ahead. You get the vibe.
Yeah, we were singing two songs. You're beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was singing Pharrell and you were singing somebody else.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful to me.
Yes,
Yeah,
happy
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. It's our Mother's Day edition. Yes.
Yeah, everybody, all the mothers, and even those out there who took up the slack for maybe a mother that wasn't there. All those grandmothers that was raising kids for the second time around. Shout out to your grandmothers and anybody that functioned as a mother. And listen, man, it's one of them things too, and I talked to Nick about this. when we have these days that we celebrate, for some it's a good celebration.
Yeah.
But we got to think about that crowd too, that is not a good celebration.
Yeah.
So for those that have lost their mothers, they don't really look forward to this day, like everybody else do, who, of course we have to do it different due to the pandemic, but, the sharing and the flowers and the gifts and things like that. So it can be a sad day. And so just know that your mother is proud of you. And look, you're a part of her legacy. And listen, the world would not be the same unless you had showed up. And your job is to continue to make her proud. That would be my encouragement, to keep her legacy going by continuing to make her proud and hey, doing great things in the world that she can look at and say, that's my boy, that's my girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it may be a little sad that she's no longer, here with you, but she's always here in your memories. She's always there in your heart. Okay, so we hope that, you would have used, the Mother's Day in a commemorative way, in a positive commemorative way, to keep her spirit alive and things like that. But, it's tough.
It is.
Yeah, and then you have those that didn't have good mothers, for lack of a better way of saying it, whether they put them up for adoption or they were strung out on drugs. So what do you say for their encouragement? You know what I mean? And the only thing I can come up with, man, is that we glad you showed up.
Yeah.
She might have not have been the best mother or whatever. She may didn't do all the things that you like. You may didn't know her. But we glad that you showed up, because the world wouldn't be the same unless you came into the world. Right. And so for that reason, we can be glad that she was the avenue for you to get here. And then what you want to do is you want to break the chains.
I was going to say that.
Go ahead, take it away, Nick.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. For you to be a better mother to your children, a better father to your children. Learn from that. Learn from that how to be better. How to be a better provider, a better nurturer. Learn from that. That's what you do. Don't hold on to it. Learn from it. Learn from it. That's what you do. That's what you do. You have children of your own. Be better. Be better. That's our job. To be better, to be better parents, to be better providers, to be better listeners to our children. That's our job.
That's it.
That's our job.
I think we covered everybody. We covered those that had their moms, those that may have lost their mothers, and those that you didn't feel you had a good mom. But once again, we glad you here. Because like you said, the world wouldn't be the same unless you showed up. And go out and do that positive stuff, man, to like Nick said, break them chains and start a new legacy. Start a new family pattern. You know what I mean? That's it, man.
That's it. That's what you do. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
All right. So, with that being said, it is now time for the many adventures of Kevin and Nikee.
Time.
So we had some good news.
Yeah, we got some good news.
Our worldwide reach has expanded more worldwide. So Nick, tell them what we got going on.
Our worldwide reach has expanded in 20 additional territories throughout Africa, Asia Pacific, Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and Oceania. With a whole bunch of other stuff in there. And what am I saying? Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts. Yes.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts. Yes, sir. Check us out on Apple Podcasts.
We're not
only on iHeartRadio, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, we on Twitter. We everywhere.
Listen, and I keep saying we're everywhere because that's our slogan, but we keep finding new places to go.
That's right.
Every time I turn around, we're somewhere else. Yeah. So thank you. And we could not do this show without you. Thank you for all of your comments on What's Bothering Nikee, Kevin's Corner, our special guest. Thank you for following us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our show is hot like fire because of you.
Hot like fire.
Babies in Pennsylvania. Because of you guys. Man, thanks for keeping us hot.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. We are so in demand because of you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, that's it, man. And it's it's just awesome to just see it just continued to blossom into what is blossoming into and growing into what is growing into, and to be able to share our worldwide platform with our guests and who are sharing worldwide information and stories and their expertise and profession with you guys. And,
somebody called us unicorns.
They called us unicorns.
Someone called us unicorns because we are spreading goodness.
We're spreading goodness
with our show. They say you're spreading so much goodness with your show. You're like a unicorn.
We're unicorn? I like that.
I've never been called a unicorn before.
I mean, it's positive, so I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it either. But they was like, you're both unicorns. I was like, okay.
But you know what? The unicorn is my favorite imaginary animal.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Why? Because of the luck it gives at the end of the rainbow?
No, that's the leprechaun.
Oh.
You got the wrong one. No, that's the leprechaun. But if it's a pot of gold at the end, I'll take that one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, unicorn, man, it represents like goodness and positivity and love and all those good things and stuff like that. And so so that's a heck of a compliment.
Yeah. So when she said, I was like, "Thank you, baby. We'll take it.
We'll take it." So yeah, and we wanted to give you guys an update. Because these are one of the many things that we're proud of. We love getting reports that when we bring people on our show, that as a result of our show, they've either got booked for a gig, a feature film, short film, a commercial, or they made some kind of connection. So we had the super talented theater, film, TV actress, and much, much more, Miss Wendy Bautista on last week. And I got a message from her that she got an offer to do a segment on a radio show.
Yeah, she sure did.
She got an offer to do a segment on a radio show, and it's going to be called Things That Make Me Want to Holler.
Oh, man.
Now, Wendy is very outspoken. Yes. She's like a civil rights advocate. She's very, very outspoken, and it was the perfect fit. Now, the radio show she's going to be on is Yurima Karama. And he knows us too. He's like, yeah, I know Kevin and Nikee, and he's a spoken word artist, hip hop lyricist, writer. He got books, essay, plays, scripts, motivational speaker, much, much more. Now they're a little bit more, hardcore. When I say hardcore, I mean
political.
Yeah, they're into the politics, like civil rights.
Yeah.
And what else was she? Civil rights, and she's like an advocate. You know what I'm saying? And so we kind of touch on that stuff in our sport news and sports stories. But that's the radio show. And we were so happy to hear that somebody listened and said, hey, listen, I want to support your brand in any way I can. They made a connection. And now she's got a radio show segment.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was good.
Nice. Come on, Wendy.
Yeah.
Yes, that voice needs to be heard.
Yeah.
She got so much to talk about, especially with everything that's going on.
Right.
She got so much to talk about. I'm going to tune in too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to tune in because I want to hear.
Socially conscious.
Advocate. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I want to hear everything she got to say.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. Yeah. Come on, Wendy. Come on, Wendy. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Come on, people.
What movie was that?
Oh, I know.
I know you know that.
You know I know. It's a New Edition story.
That's a New Edition
Come
story.
on, people. Hey, come on now.
Come on, people. So yeah, we get excited when we hear stories like that because once again, one of the things that we feel so great about is that we're helping people.
Yeah.
This is a platform that we've been given to help people. And we're helping people even by the guests that we bring on. And we're helping people by whatever connections you make coming out of being on our show. We give you a clap. That's what life is about. It's about a circle.
That's it.
I'm not trying to sound like Lion King, but it's about the circle of life.
That's right. Circles around.
No, the Lion King. The Lion King.
Circle of life. Yubba, 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 yeah. And it moves us all. Yubba, 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 yeah.
All right, now let's switch to that circle around. Come on, you're supposed to jump in.
You know what?
Oh, no. I was trying to keep the circle going, but Nikee broke it. But anyway, we're happy about that.
Because we were off key and out of tune and everything. Let's just stop.
We do hack songs up. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
Yeah. So other than that, man.
And we were on the wrong note, too.
Well, we were singing two different songs.
I know.
One was the Lion King, and then one. Who was the song? Circle. Was that the something sisters? It was somebody's sister.
I don't know what sisters that was, but I do know we were on the wrong note again.
I was on the wrong. I stay on the wrong note.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I shouldn't be on the wrong note because I know how to sing. That's horrible. I'm sorry, y'all. It won't happen again.
You got a cold. Let me make an excuse for you. You gotta go. Yeah. So, yeah, man, so we stand on our line, stand on the grind in the house, and just trying to, prepare ourselves for these unanticipated changes that are coming up. So the best thing you can do, man, is stay on your lines, stay on the grind inside the house, whether it's video submissions, video auditions, email submissions. You got to continue to do all those things. There are many things that we can do right at home to prepare ourselves, embrace ourselves. Maybe I need to add that for the upcoming unforeseen changes so we can put ourselves in the best position to get cast. But I am thankful to say that we do have some things that we were already cast for that we're just waiting to finish filming and waiting to film. So that's a positive that I'm thankful for, because we don't know what the casting process is going to be with all the changes. We just know that it's going to change. So yeah. And so only other thing I did, man, I was I try to go on Instagram every now and then and just post pictures, and I posted a picture of me and Jay Hunter from If Loving You Is Wrong, who I had the privilege to meet. And when I met him, as I was shaking his hand and stuff, I was telling him, I said, look, man, I'm a fan of yours, fan of, the show, If Loving You Is Wrong. I said, I'm an actor, but I'm a fan as well, man. And you're a really, really good actor. And he really appreciated that. And I said that to him when I met him. And so when I post our picture, I said that same thing. I put that in the post. And I was honored that he responded back. He commented back. He said, man, it was nice to meet you, Kevin. And it became personal from the standpoint of we made a positive connection, and then we made a positive reconnection. And, you just never know, man. Life has a way of coming full circle. People remember how you treated them, good or bad. They remember the connection that you made with them, good or bad. And I was just grateful to be able to make a connection with one of my favorite actors who I enjoy watching, Jay Hunter from If Loving You Is Wrong, man.
Nice.
Real good dude too. And he can play ball too. He can play.
Oh yeah.
He's like a straight athlete. Like, he can play.
Can't play better than me though.
Man, I'm not going to make a comment on that one.
You opened the door for me to say something.
I sure did.
You opened the door for me to say something, so you know I was going to say something.
So
I for me, I really couldn't do anything else but take care of my mother. She's not doing well. And she's doing better now, but she wasn't doing well before. Right. And we're going to talk about that, and what's bothering Nikee. But she's much better now, thank God, because it wasn't looking too good before. So my brothers and I, we got together, and shout out to my brothers, shout out to family, because we didn't waste no time coming together to put together our plan on how we were going to, take care of her. So we'll talk more about that on what's bothering Nikee, but that's what I was doing this week. So I really couldn't dip into the scripts or anything like that because I was working and taking care of her.
Gotcha.
But we need our mothers.
That's it.
We need our mothers. So when mama's sick, everything stops.
That's it.
Everything stops.
Yeah.
Everything stops because we got plans.
That's it.
Mama and I, we got plans, and she's number one supporter.
Right.
So we got a plan. So when she gets sick, we gotta stop everything and rush to her. So
that's it. I know.
So that's what I was doing.
That's it. And Mama Warren can get a prayer through.
Yes, she can.
Man,
and don't let her start shouting. She'll run around this whole block 3 times.
Yeah, she get a prayer through. Because you don't want anybody praying for you anyway.
No.
You want folk that can get a prayer through.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? Mama Warren can get a prayer through.
Listen, I need somebody who know how to get in touch with God.
And God.
Okay?
You know what I mean? You got to say God.
Listen, how to get in touch with God.
God. The Southern Baptists, man, they'll take you there, man.
They would take you there. They would take you there, and that's so funny because when I was taking care of her, I knew the music to put on for her.
Yeah,
I was cleaning and I was blasting that gospel music. And she got the bob in her hair. So, it's coming. It's coming. That help is coming now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta go back.
Yeah.
Go back to them remedies that work, that old down south, down home gospel music that puts you on your face.
Because when people are sick, and we kind of talked about this. Part of the healing is being in good spirits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if part of what makes being sick worse is when you're depressed, because there is a psychological, emotional effect on our bodies physically, and this is scientifically proven as well, and doctrinally and theologically proven, that takes a toll on us physically. So you need to try to keep that person in good spirits, keep them up tempo, keep them positive. And you did the right thing putting on that gospel music, man, because it lifts your spirit.
It lifts your spirit.
And as your spirit is being lifted, your health is being lifted and affected. Your cells start to operate and all this stuff. Look it up. Google it for yourself scientific. You'll see.
And I went back to the James Cleveland days.
That's it. Oh, that.
You know what I'm saying? I
took
it
all organic gospel.
Daryl Cooley. I went back. Richard Smallwood. I was taken aback, to them old days, and I saw that hand go like that. Like, okay, it's coming.
You're like, it's
coming.
It's
coming. Yeah, it's coming back.
That's it, man.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing.
All right. So you're going to tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, you sure can.
All right. So, listen. While you're on Amazon Prime, we got a host of stuff on there. We got The Coveting Witches, Season 1 and 2.
Season 1.
Season 1?
Season 1, Episode 1 and 2.
Okay, episode. I know it had a 2 somewhere in there. Season 1, Episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's a real good story about these witches that are just in this house. They having a whole lot of problems. And Nick played a mama witch, man. She's like holding everybody down, trying to hold everybody together.
Yeah, I like being a witch too. Not in real life, but I'm just saying.
As a character.
Yeah, as a character.
Okay, because you scared me for a minute right there. You scared me. I'm glad you finished that sentence because you scared me for 1 second there. I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway, but she's casting spells. They casting spells, and Nick is the mama witch trying to hold everything together. Check it out on Amazon Prime. You might really enjoy that. This while you're on Amazon Prime, check out Single and Anxious. A lot of lies, lust, and love going on. Season 1, 2, and 3 is up there.
Yeah,
and I'm in season 3, episodes 2, 5, and 10. Playing Ronald, just trying to be an average dad, trying to deal with my own personal, issues and sickness, and trying to keep my daughter encouraged and keep it away from her so she don't worry about me. And we had some very emotional conversation. So you might want to check that out and find out how it all pans out. So while you're still on Amazon Prime, check out The Right Path movie.
Yes.
The girl over here is welding M16s, and you might want to see how it all go down, man. Yes. Or do she go down? Tune in to find out. Because guess what?
Find out.
She's not Susie Homemaker in this one.
Nope.
You're going to want to check it out. And I play Spider. And what was your character name?
Nikee. Yeah, Nikee.
You was pulling out knives on people. You had all kinds of weapons and stuff.
I know.
Yeah, that was
I was pulling out everything. Yeah.
Not in real life, just in the movie, y'all. Yeah, but you will do it in real life too, though. Well, you might. I don't know. It's just a character, But we do draw from. I'm trying to fix this. We do draw from real life experiences to create characters that get created. So anyway, check out the Right Path movie. We got our NYC family holding it down. Quaz Frazier, AJ Franklin. Yes. We got my man Wakanda. Yeah. Troy the Great. They all doing their thing. Yeah. Miss Anjanette Pinkston, all of them, man. They all come together and do it. And they do it right, man.
They do it right. Yeah. They do a very good job.
They do a great job.
Shout out to our New York family.
JB. We got my man JB. Cooley High, a.k.a. Cooley High up in there. You know what I'm saying? You know who he is. Yeah. So it goes down, man. And so while you're still on Amazon Prime, check out Mercy. The killing. Dealing with a subject, social conscious subject, the killing of unarmed African Americans. It's not a cop bashing movie. It's a conversational piece movie that's going to invoke just that conversation. But what do you do when you're in a situation where you can show mercy or take revenge? Tune in, check it out. Mercy on Amazon Prime. Then while you're on Amazon Prime, check out Emergency Landing.
Yeah.
What happens when relationships go good, bad, and they ugly?
Ooh, ugly.
Sometimes they turn out ugly, y'all. And sometimes you gotta take that emergency landing into where? To God's hands.
Yeah, that
you're gonna need
like...
God. That
sounds like one of our news stories we're gonna report today.
Yeah, man. And follow 4 couples, man, and the drama that they go through. And me and Nick is in there, and we are doing our thing. Nick, now you wasn't wielding an M16, you was wielding a bat.
Yes, I was.
So she's switching up her weapons.
Yes,
different character though.
Listen, I was gonna beat that.
Yeah, and matter of fact, you was coming across you to beat my character. Man, now I think about it.
I had to put the little up in there.
You had your army boots on.
Listen, I was ready.
You was ready.
I was ready. Yeah, I was ready, but something happened and I couldn't do it.
I hear you. So yeah, on Amazon Prime. So go to Jason's Letter on Stars Network. This joint is just it's just going. I think they kind of putting it in.
Yeah, it's
in
looping.
cycle. It's looping. Yeah,
it's looping.
Yeah, and I was so proud that movie was shown during Black History Month, and we were part of what was considered Black History.
Yep.
It's a movie about an 8th grader who comes up with a solution based on a research paper he does for school about how to minimize African Americans being killed, unarmed African Americans being killed in society and in our neighborhoods and things like that. Once again, it's a conversational piece. It's a tearjerker and it's a heart mover. You might want to check that out. While you're on YouTube, go to actor Kevin D. Benton or actress Nikee Warren. Check out the multi-award winning short film starring your girl over here, The News, and she is holding it down and walking away with awards for it. And me and Jessica J. Stoles, the writer, director, actress, and much, much more is in it. And Honor, Logan Jenkins and myself is in it, man. And you might want to some awards. We walked away with some awards with that. We all did, and we racked them up. And so check out those. You're going to really, really enjoy it. And then there's something else on Amazon Prime. Check out Revelation Blues. Good cop thriller, cop story. What do you do when you're caught between the world and faith? What decisions do you make when you're caught between the world and faith? Tune in to Revelation Blue on Amazon Prime. Check that out. Now, Old Head, the TV series, is on Amazon Prime. Check that out. Season 1, 2, and 3 is on YouTube, but you can also check it out on Amazon Prime as well. And I played a crooked city councilman. I wonder what would my character be doing in the pandemic. Probably trying to get some money out of it. I'm a little crooked and stuff like that because all I care about is them liquor license. That's
it. You want your liquor license?
Liquor license.
That's it.
Me and the mayor. You know what I mean? That's
it.
Yeah. So check it out, man. You're going to really enjoy that. And it's one of those binge watch type series. And then check out the Recession web series part 1, season 1. Awesome cast. Maurice Paramore doing this thing. Season 2 is about to start as soon as this thing is over. But man, it's a good TV series, getting good reviews and a good following. The Recession web series on YouTube, and I feel like I'm leaving something out.
No, you hit everything.
Okay,
you did. You said everything.
Oh, and then Guns and Grams. Remember the feature film that we finally got released? We filmed that joint, what, 3 years ago?
2016.
Okay, yeah. That's on Amazon Prime, man. Got Omar Gooding in there. Yep. Who's that? Snoop from The Wire's in there. Hassan Johnson from The Wire's in there. And
Clifton Powell
is in there. Yeah. So Pinky, man. So check it out, man. Some good stuff going on with more to come. We're going to keep you guys posted. We got some horror films coming up that we're going to tell you more about later. We got some feature films coming up, man. And so even though this pandemic is what it is, when we come out of there, we're going to try to keep this thing flowing and going. And man, as we told him, I told him that we won't stop. I told him that we won't stop. I sing, fella. I told him that we won't stop. I told him that we won't stop. Jiggy. Yeah, that's it. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break?
Yep. We're going to take a break. But before we do, man, listen. Our guest that we have got for you today, he is a director. He's an instructor. He's an actor. He has his own acting studio where he teaches you the more than the fundamentals. Man, I'm telling you, you guys are going to be truly, 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 truly blessed today. And if you haven't gotten a chance to get over to his acting studio, I can guarantee you by the time this interview is over, you're going to be calling him till you're going to enroll.
That's it.
I'm telling you right now, because he is the bee's knees. I'm telling you, don't go nowhere. Come back, get your water, whatever. Get your popcorn, because you're going to be in for it. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere, and we will be right back.
In a world like today, it's a rare occasion to be able to see young mothers like the ones that were around when I grew up. But they live on in memory to quite a few of us. And this song is dedicated to those who cherish that memory. Early one Sunday morning, breakfast was on the table. There was no time to eat. She said to me, boy, hurry to Sunday school, filled with the Lord of glory. We learned the holy story. She'll always have her dreams, despite the things this troubled world can bring. Oh, say, don't you know we love you, sweet Sadie? Place no one above you, sweet Sadie. Well, living in the past. Sometimes it seems so funny, but no money will turn your life around. Sweeter than cotton candy, stronger than Papa's old brandy. Always that needed smile. Once in a while, she would break down and cry. Sometimes she'd be so happy, singing with us and Daddy, standing the worst of times, breaking the binds with just a simple song. Oh, Sadie Mae, don't you know still loving us all in your special way. Well, there's no one above you, sweet Sadie, living in the past. Oh, she's never sinning. In love, she's always winning. Yeah. My. I love you, girl. I just can't forget how you gave me love. Oh, Lord. If there's a heaven up above, I know she's teaching angels how to love. It's a mean world without you. All the love you show.
Satisfy your sweet tooth with some tasty treats from the Brownie Shop. Fudge cupcakes, sweet potato pie, freshly baked bread, homemade ice cream, creamy chocolatey brownies, and much, much more. Check out their full menu on Facebook Brownie Shop or Brownie Shop 2019 Instagram. Get your next dessert from the Brownie Shop. Your sweet tooth will love you for it.
Urban Elite Beauty LLC is an online urban beauty supply store that serves both men and women in urban communities. Our goal is to provide quality beauty solutions for our culture and community. Most importantly, we want to instill in our friends the importance of loving thy hair, loving thy skin, and to love thyself. Check us out on social media, on Facebook at Urban Elite Beauty, on Twitter at dbenton71, on Instagram at urban_elite_beauty, and for more information, go to our website at www.urbanelitebeauty.com or email founder and CEO David Benton at dbenton@urbanelitebeauty.com or call 609-217-5292. Check us out and see what the Urban Elite Beauty experience is all about. All right.
Yeah.
Sadie.
Yeah. Don't you know we love you, sweet Sadie? Place no one above you, sweet Sadie. What the crap? Wait a minute. Where did it come from? You scared me.
I went to church on him. You know what I mean?
But yeah, you went.
I was on note though. I was on note. That's gonna sound good.
You okay?
Anyway.
Wait a minute. Oh my God. Okay. Go ahead now.
But that was supposed to be the end of the song. That's when you get hyped. I got hyped at the beginning of the song.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
you scared the mess out of me in a minute.
Yeah. So we ready for to introduce our special guest.
Yes, we are ready.
All right. We are ready. All right. So as an actor born and raised in New York City, our special guest, he has had the honor and the privilege to train under some of the best known masters of the craft in the industry, including, but not limited to, Lee Strasberg, Uta Hagen, Bobby Lewis, Herbert Berghoff, Zoe Caldwell, Stella Atwood, William Hickey, and Austin Pendleton, and many, many more. He is in SAG-AFTRA Equity multi-award winning actor, teacher, coach, playwright, and artistic director at the internationally recognized John Polatta Studio of Acting, where he has authored his own philosophy and approach to acting, documented in his book on the craft called Acting is a State of Mind, where his belief is that acting is a state of mind. Acting is a process. It's a journey of discovery. It is a living, breathing process that happens each and every day and does not happen overnight. At his studio, actors are given opportunities they won't find in any other acting class, including intensive camera work and on set, on location study, where students get a chance to explore all facets of film work, from lighting, sound, location scouting, and directing to working with each other on camera on a professional set. You put all this together, and the result we found is students come out of our studio more prepared for not just the business, but for life in general. And as a result, he is one of the most sought-after acting coaches in the country and can be seen coaching some of our top stars seen on TV and in the movies and online streaming around the world. He has studios in New York City, Washington, D.C., Fairfax, Virginia, Boston, Massachusetts, Chicago, Illinois, Albany, Atlanta, Georgia, and also teaches and lectures internationally in Puerto Rico, India, Pakistan, Ghana, United Arab Emirates, and Skypes on set internationally and all over the world. Because of his distinguished work at his acting studio, Backstage Reader's Choice Awards has nominated him for awards 18 times, 6 times for Best Acting Coach in New York City 2014 through 15, including being voted Best Acting Coach / Teacher on the East Coast, Best Voice Teacher on the East Coast, Best Improv Teacher on the East Coast, and has deemed him the voice of the actor and an on-camera teacher to get you auditionally ready. He is also a writer, producing, casting director, casting department, cinematographer, editor, second unit director or assistant director, camera and electrical department, sound department, and much, much more. He is the brother of Academy Award-winning nominee John Polatta. Who are we talking about? None other than Mr. John Polatta.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, dear?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good, thank you.
All right, so we have Mr. John Polatta himself on the line, on the show, and we want to start, as we always try to do with all our special guests, we want to start by saying thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, even though we're...
guys, so welcome.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. And we're very, very honored to have you. I know everybody is, kind of going through this pandemic and on lockdown, so to speak, but as actors, writers, directors, and entertainers, there's always some things that we can be doing in the house. And nonetheless, during this time, we are bringing Mr. John Polatta himself on the line, on the show.
Yes.
So we're excited about it. Yeah.
So how have you been doing while in quarantine?
Well, I've been doing a lot regarding writing because I wasn't presenting an acting teacher. I am a writer, playwright, screenwriter. So what I do is I create original content for my actors, and I've been doing a lot of writing. I created in this pandemic. I've actually been more creative than ever. I've written over 200 original scenes for my actors to film in class, as well as a series which we cast during the pandemic called Fluff. about a retired porn star or what he does 30 years out of leaving the business. Comedy.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I've gotten the opportunity to do more, being isolated.
Yeah.
You know, but looking for a time when we can get back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Right, absolutely.
Well, look, we're gonna jump right on into it.
All right, yeah, we might as well jump right on into it. So, you have your acting studio, and you know you're an actor yourself. Let's go back to the beginning. Tell our listeners a little bit about how you got started acting.
Yeah, this goes way back to about 1975, 1976.
Yeah.
Being from New York, certain things happened, and I just decided to get into acting. It actually happened in Manhattan. We friends of my friends and I thought we saw Al Pacino walking on. This is going way back, 10th Avenue, 9th to 10th Avenue in Manhattan, and we followed him. This is 1976, and we followed him, and he went into something we thought was a church. It turned out to be the actor's studio, and that's where, and he was there. A young Harvey Keitel was there, I don't know that is. And we just decided I decided to get into acting, and
wow,
that's how it all happened.
Wow, just
started
from
at the American Theater of Actors on 54th Street, and then entered Lee Strasberg Institute in 76, 77.
Wow.
Well,
just from following Al Pacino.
Just from following Al Pacino down the street.
Okay.
Yeah, he just did a couple years out of The Godfather.
Okay.
Of course, you're young and you're like Al Pacino, and it takes a number of things, just like anyone else would get into it. Something sparks their imagination, something enlightens them, and they begin the journey. And that's how I began.
Awesome.
Wow.
Now, you mentioned Lee Strasberg, master in the industry. You trained under some of the best ever.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the names, and I hope roll call don't get nobody in trouble, because you know how you leave somebody out, somebody get mad. But talk about some of the names that you've trained under.
Most of them in the afterlife. So.
Okay.
Hopefully they, Lee Strasberg. Although I was at the Institute, Lee Strasberg was on the West Coast at that time.
Okay.
Oh, I was able to sit his classes when he, or general session when he came back to, on occasion, New York. But I also studied with Stella Adler. And Uta Hagen. I studied with Uta Hagen a number of years back in the 80s. And then Bill Hickey. God, the list goes on.
Bobby Lewis. Yep.
Bobby Lewis.
Zoe Caldwell. Yeah.
Bobby Lewis was Bill Hickey's friend. So Bill Hickey lived 2 blocks over from me in Manhattan.
Okay.
So, they were friends, and I was able to when he would lecture in New York, go there, and I was very happy. I got to be a part of it when, these days you're studying with someone who studied 3 times over. I had the opportunity to actually study with these people in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely that is an all-star list. Lee Strasberg, Uta Hagen, Bobby Lewis, Herbert Berghoff, Zoe Caldwell, Stella Adler, William Hickley, Austin Pendleton. Yes. I mean, the list that's an all-star list. That's a Hall of Fame list right there. It is. That's Hall of Fame right there.
That's a beautiful list.
Back then, we as actors, as young actors, appreciated the craft.
Right.
We studied accordingly. These days it's less studied, more. They just want to get working.
Right.
So, but now I teach and I act.
Yeah.
So my students are trained when they go into the audition room or on that set. They're trained actors.
Right.
So and not just in Philadelphia. I have studios in New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Fairfax, Virginia, and occasionally when I go to Chicago.
Right. Yeah, and you do
but
some.
Philadelphia's home now.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, and you do some international training as well.
Right.
As so yeah.
I train internationally via Skype. I just trained at the Stella Adler of India. Some workshop for some of their actors on the Stella Adler of India. Stella Adler franchised out, so they're in India as well.
Oh, nice.
And I did some, I held some online classes for their actors, and also to African continent, some of the poorest countries in Africa. I don't remember their names. Kind of set up like it is here. You call in and they set it all up.
Right.
It was a business. They were able to see me.
Yeah, because you have studios all over the place.
The names of countries like back then, but not now.
Right.
But, I also Skyped to Italy, a number of places. Awesome. Not just film acting, theater.
Right.
Theater is where it, for me, where it all began.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we learned. That theater really is the foundation of acting and even film and TV acting. But speaking of your training, of course you have your own studio, John Polatta Studio of Acting. There are many actors that are coming out of your studio that are getting work on major TV, networks and stations and shows. But I wanted to talk a little bit about your philosophy because, you have method acting, you have Meisner, you have these different acting methods, but you have your own acting method, and you even authored a book about the craft called Acting is a State of Mind. And your belief system is such that acting is a state of mind. Acting is a process. It is a journey of discovery. It is a living, breathing process that happens each and every day and does not happen overnight. Can you elaborate on that? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, through the back and forth, I realized that method, Meisner, Schrute, and philosophy, Shakespeare, these are not necessarily methods. These are businesses meant to sell books and seats in classes. Through my years of training, I've developed my own method, which is to get actors trained and get them working. And I specialize, even though I teach theater as well, and I write for the stage, I help actors understand the relationship between themselves, the camera, and the story, and how an audience anticipates you. But my journey is my focus to teach the craft is to help every one of my students find their own voice as an actor. And like you said before, in my book, acting is a process. It's a journey of discovery. It's a living, breathing process that happens every single day. Most people just want to be in front of a casting director.
Right.
Having a conversation with one of my friends who's a casting director, she says, too many actors are coming, they're not getting it. They're just robots in front of them, fake smiles, white teeth. They want to see the human.
Right.
They want to see that, this human being behind the actor. So, and they're not making choices, just like you make choices, both of you, that have outcomes. The actor must make choices for his character, and part of my overall method, it's called Acting is a State of Mind. That innocence, imagination. It's about discovering the potential qualities you were born with as a child, and the least you think about being an actor, and the more you think about being a child, the more in the moment you will be. It's kind of like based on the You know, when you guys were young and you'd go to the park and you'd become anything on the drop of a dime?
Right.
The same thing.
Okay.
Is that's why I call it acting as a state of mind. And what happens is, to most people, me, you, and everyone else, is, you know, when we're born a clean slate. There's nothing prohibiting us.
Right.
And through the years, peer pressure, parents, bosses, they create walls that prohibit us from thinking freely.
Mm-hmm.
And through my method, I'm hopefully able to break down all these walls so you could once again be the innocent child that you once were.
Man.
And therefore turn that into the stage. Also, what happens is I realize that there's a lot of great actors there, but, you know, I'm heavily into camera angles for the best way to represent that actor.
Mm.
You know, a lot of actors know how to act, but they don't know how to take it and turn it to the camera.
Right.
Gotcha.
You know, there's many different kinds of realities. There's realism. There's my life, your life, all our lives, and we are actually very boring creatures. Even though we you know what I mean. I'm just saying in reality.
Right.
And then there's what's called theatrical realism, where what you do on stage has to, you know, play to that audience, has to, you know, understand the playwright's intention and reach the back of that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Where film acting, cinematic realism, I should say, is how you play cinematically for the camera.
Right.
Okay.
How you look like on stage.
Yeah.
Like we watch TV, those people that are performing television shows, it's not exactly reality.
Right.
It's kind of curved a little bit to fit the format of the show.
Right.
So, you know, and unlike theater is our medium. It's from us getting on stage all the way to us leaving the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Film is different. You don't have control.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The actor doesn't have control. The actor's only there to supply choices. And, you know, you don't have, unlike theater, you have the final income because you messed up, it's you.
Right. That's
true.
true.
Film and television, you film it over. You're only there to supply choices.
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, you're only there to supply choices.
Yeah.
To make recommendations through your action.
Yeah.
And like it says, you don't know the outcome. You know, film and television is a director's medium. It's a editor's medium. It's a casting director's medium. It's a producer's medium. They control your outcome.
Right.
You know, you can give all the acting choices in the world. Sometimes when I film people, they have no idea what it's going to look like.
Right.
Unlike theater, you know what the outcome's going to look like.
Right. Right.
It's predetermined.
Man.
Wow.
But film and television.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So with film and television, you're only there to supply choices.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and make the best possible choices. And then it's up to the editor and all those other people that can put it all together and tell the story.
Right.
Wow.
You know, so does that make any sense?
Oh,
yeah, it makes a
lot of sense.
You definitely
makes
differentiate.
Plenty of sense, and you broke it down so well. So if
I train my actors not to be actors, but to meet production needs.
Okay.
That's reality. Just like to put your show together. You know, there's a lot of people. You're there to produce a product.
Right.
And I tell my actors, it's not about you. It's about being a piece of the puzzle.
Gotcha.
You're there to meet production needs.
There you go.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So if a person wanted to, if a person wanted to join your school, how would they go about that?
Well, I prefer I like the fact, and I tell them, study with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to study with as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I want them to understand other teachers. I want them to understand casting directors. I want to understand stage teachers. I want them to understand voice acting, so they can be a multi dimensional actor.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teachers don't want to share their students. You know, I believe that you have to gain as much knowledge as possible. But and when I teach acting, I explain to my students, I am geared specifically towards film and television.
Gotcha.
When you walk into my studio, there'll be a camera there every day, sometimes 2 or 3 cameras, and because the camera needs to capture you.
Right.
They're not hiring an actor; they're hiring an image.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor's got to find that image that best represents him on the screen.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
That
it makes a lot
of
of sense.
sense.
Well, I mean, just by way of comment, man, I wanted to kind of zip back. I love how you talked about breaking down those walls because, me and Nikee, we're definitely advocates of, taking acting classes with multiple, with many teachers, and, we've trained under a lot of awesome teachers, and, how you talked about breaking down the walls. The great John Kenneth McGregor, he said, Kevin, you have to give yourself permission to feel. He said, you're a basketball player. Your mind is trained and conditioned to be tough. You have to always be tough on the court. You have to be tough against your opponent. And now you have to let that wall down to give yourself the permission to feel so that you can cry or show various different emotions. And that was a challenge for me. I feel like I got a better handle on it now. Not that I've arrived at it. We're always getting better. But that was one of the many walls that I had to break down, going from this tough-minded, ball player who was always in competitive mode to giving myself permission to feel so that I could make that character who has to cry or show anger or what have you be more believable.
Right.
And then just zipping forward, I love how you talked about, actors being sitting under the tutelage of many different actors. I mean, looking at the list of actors that you've trained under, you have a plethora of history and knowledge that you've gained, because it seems like sometimes in this era, there is a confinement to one acting class, almost kind of like an acting gang, if you will, for lack of a better way of saying it. But when you can get that...
You know what it is? Back in the 70s, we went to the teachers for knowledge and advice.
Okay.
And we were trained there for the great words of Kenneth McGregor. He tells me, we're there to serve an art.
Right, that's right.
You're there to serve an art.
Yeah.
I respect. Kenneth just had an operation.
Yeah. They say he's home doing well, so we all were, sending our positive vibes, thoughts, and prayers out to him. So, Mr. Kenneth, if you listen, get well soon, sir.
Great person, great teacher.
Yeah.
About me, I'm more of a technical teacher.
Gotcha.
Although I teach acting, I emphasize that I specialize in the technicalities of acting, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of technical things that, creating the right shot for the actor.
Right.
Your acting has to coincide with angles, and I teach all kinds of different things. But, Kenneth is a great teacher. There's a lot of great teachers out there.
Yeah.
Playhouse West, Mr. Savant, Bernard Kowalski. There's a lot of good teachers out there.
Yeah.
And I encourage all actors to study with Kenneth and study with Tony Savant and study with Bernard and even Kathy Patterson.
Yeah.
I don't know many teachers out New York. There's 1,000 teachers.
Oh yeah. That is so true.
Philly has a lot to offer and a lot of great teachers. That they should reach out. And take classes with Kenneth and take classes with Tony and take classes with Bernard.
Yeah.
Hopefully me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're definitely on that list. And we got to put Mr. Melvin Williams on that list, out of New York, out of Queens. Mr. Melvin Williams. Yeah.
Okay, I'm from Queens, originally Jamaica.
Yeah. So, Mr. Mel is out of New York, and he's out of Queens in New York. He's the acting coach for Queen Latifah, Common, Dwight Howard. There's a lot. And he was the artistic director for Deliver Us from Eva, the Cookout 1 and 2,
Right.
Just Right,
yeah.
And a list of movies go on.
Yeah, notable films.
Yeah. So yeah, we're definitely advocates.
Wow.
Definitely advocates of getting training for multiple teachers and I love how you talked about the technical part of what you do, because I mean, just from what you're sharing right now here on the show, sometimes it's going to be that camera angle that makes you stand out and look just a little bit better than somebody that doesn't, and that could be the difference between getting cast and not getting cast in an audition. Yeah,
it's unlike with theater. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of body movement.
Yeah,
all that stuff. That your voice. Sometimes with film and television, there is a lot. There's the close-up, there's the foundation shot, there's all these things that tell a different story of you as an actor. I think it's important that actors have to understand their angle, because the wrong shot can, not do you justice. The establishing shot, the master shot, the tracking shot,
right.
You have the shoulder, the medium shot, the close-up, even the extreme close-up, and how you tell your story. Theater people, stage actors are storytellers. We film actors are visual storytellers. The closer you are, like I tell actor, I specialize in the close-up shot. And the extreme close-up, your acting has to change. A lot of times in theater, they're reaching that voice bouncing off the back of the stage. Where film, sometimes you don't have to say anything, and you're still telling that story.
Exactly.
I'm so glad. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I remember when I was taking classes with Mr. Ken, and he said, Kevin, when I went up on the stage, he said, Kevin, I want you to show me that you are displeased with that book. So I picked it up and I kind of looked at it and gave it a frown. He said, let me show you something. He picked the book up and just slammed it down. He said, now, do you know how I feel about that book? I said, I sure do. I don't think you care for it. But so you're so right, man. But I wanted to talk about a few different things. All right. So we have the emergence of the online streaming. 30 years ago, you would have never seen a commercial saying now streaming on Amazon or Netflix. It was more so in theaters everywhere. Talk a little bit about how online streaming has changed the industry, and then culminate that into how the COVID-19 and the virus and the pandemic, along with the streaming, is going to change the industry.
For me, although I teach online, I as an acting teacher, I'm talking about purely as an acting teacher, I need that one-on-one connection with the actor or actors. I don't laugh, but I don't watch TV. I teach film and television, but I don't watch TV. It's different than, most people watch film and television for purely entertainment value.
Right.
I'm looking at the technical aspect. Your sight line has to be perfect. The angle has to. I need a lot of great actors, and a lot of great acting, but they don't know how to turn it towards the camera. But as far as you're talking about streaming for television, I don't know. I've been streaming. Once in a while I stream my classes, but
movies are more so now on Netflix, or movies are on Hulu, whereas it seems like it's kind of getting away from the theater, the traditional theater experience, which the John Lucases and the Steven Spielbergs are, advocates of and try to adhere to. So with the emergence of the online streaming, your movie screen is now your cell phone. And so it seems like we're getting away from going to the actual theater. And I just kind of wanted to get your take on, as far as where movie going experience is going in the future. And then with the onset of the COVID-19, nobody's running back to the theater like that anymore.
And nobody's going to be in a rush to.
And nobody's going to be in a rush. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the movie going / movie streaming experience
Well,
yeah.
These days, most people are on the go. They're in and out. Back then, with back in the day, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 58.
Mm-hmm.
The family used to sit down, watch TV together. We didn't have TV changers. The TV changer in my house was a pair of pliers.
Right.
I remember those days.
With a coat hanger for the antenna.
Yes. I remember those
days.
Yes.
But these days, I don't know how to work that technology, and sometimes my cat picks up the TV changer, off the floor, and the TV goes on.
Right.
And I don't know how to work it. But I think with everything, reality is it's about the almighty dollar. They got to keep this stuff going. Even in the COVID virus situation, they got to keep the shows rolling.
Right.
For me, I'm older. Sometimes I can't see. So these little things on these mobile devices, I can't see it, or sometimes I can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But these shows, they know that the families aren't going to sit down and watch TV. They're going to be on the go.
Right.
So this is why I think they're coming up with all these things. Bottom line is to keep things rolling.
Right.
And I don't. I mean, I have a huge TV. I don't even watch it.
Wow.
But I don't know the best way to answer that. I really, really don't. This is a changing time.
Yeah.
I have a relative that's a technologies expert for a large company, and he goes, even this is going to change. It's going to change to TV down the road will be. He showed me this, a visual thing. He goes, it'll be holographic.
Okay.
And you will be in the middle of it. That's the next phase.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
he goes,
DreamWorks, I don't know if you've seen the movie Trolls Concert, where it was supposed to had come out in
what is it called?
Trolls Concert.
It was animated.
It was like an
yeah.
animated cartoon for children, and it was supposed to come out in theaters, but due to the pandemic, they released it online, where everyone had to pay about $20 to watch it, and they end up making, within 2 weeks, they end up grossing $100 million, I guess, to make their money back for production. It seems like they were successful with that, so a lot of other film industries will probably follow suit. Do you think that if they cut out the theater, do you think that productions will be successful with putting their movies on streaming now? Because it's looking the way it's headed.
Companies they're always going to come up with a way to be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to come up with a way. But my thing, I don't watch all those things. I don't really, I watch occasionally. I don't watch animation. I listen to it, and it's a difference. Because I'm listening to the actor's voice.
Right.
I don't really watch these. Like things are changing. They're always going to find different ways to make money and keep it rolling.
Right.
To meet, they're always going to find something.
Right.
If the world shut down tomorrow, film companies are still going to find a way to operate.
Right.
It's like you, me, as an acting teacher and a small business owner, I got to keep operations rolling.
Right.
And you guys as radio hosts got to keep the show rolling.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Is the red man keeps knocking.
Right.
Yes, he does.
I know that's
whether
right.
you want him to or not.
That's right. Yeah. So
like Mama says, go where you keep going, crash and burn, big baby, crash and burn. Bigger the headache, bigger the pill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You're the protector of the principal. You.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
You gotta keep things rolling.
That's it. So, how, just from your insights, or how can actors prepare themselves as we're all kind of waiting to get back on set, waiting to, start filming again. And I mean, hopefully everybody's been doing some things at home like we have. But just in your, educated guess, and, you have a plethora of experience. We know that changes are coming. What is your take on how actors can prepare themselves for the upcoming changes? Now, I know training is always going to be a premium. You know what I mean? And that's what your acting studio is all about, Mr. Ken and Mr. Mel and all of them. So other than constantly getting training and development and honing your craft, what in terms of the changes, what do you foresee is how we can prepare ourselves to give ourselves the best chance to move forward with the changes? Because they're saying that, the number of people are going to cut down on set and so forth and so forth. What is your take on that?
So when you take into it just changes that are happening, did you happen to see that proposal I sent you?
Yes. Yeah. And it was excellent.
It's not just the actor, it's covering everything from catering to craft services. There's so much more. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Covering everything from general recommendations to casting, to on-set protocol, to location scouting, location services, grip department, hair and makeup.
Right. Yes, definitely hair and makeup.
Costumes, props, camera department. The list goes on. Sound department, and not just catering, and not just craft. Catering is a different subject. Craft services, medical. It'll be, a huge, there's what'll take place on a smaller set and then what'll take place on a larger set. Because I think the OSHA and FDA are going to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that, there's things there that can kill you.
Right.
Right.
And something like this, your employer has to secure your health and your safety.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to get into this whole proposal. I wrote up a proposal based on information on the internet. I sent it to some the union, I sent it to SAG-AFTRA about the changing landscape of being on set. I don't know if you have that in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like 11, 15 pages.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, we saw it, and your proposal was definitely...
It covers everything.
Yeah, you definitely covered everything. Yeah, you covered everything. Hair, makeup, crafties, you covered everything in there. It was a phenomenal proposal. I think that proposal is going to definitely have its voice in the industry, especially with the changes, and it's definitely some valuable information that you shared, because how are you going to do a boxing scene now? I mean, are they going to have people sitting 6 feet apart and then CGI the rest? You know what I'm saying? So these are all the things that need to be thought about.
The biggest drastic thing I see is the amount of people that'll be involved in the project.
Right.
See the way we're doing our stuff at home. The same thing's going to happen with them. You don't have to be on set. CGI can be done at home.
Right.
You don't need all these other people. You can have, you don't have to have those multiple food preparers. You have everything delivered in a box.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything. The airline's delivering stuff in a box. The trains are delivering stuff in a box. So even though, the thing is, like it says, we got to change. I'm not just actors. Same with you. You're also business people.
Right.
You got to change, and what do you, I'm not thinking just like an actor. I'm thinking like a business person.
Right.
What has to be done.
Right.
You can't walk on set. I listen to some person say, "Oh yeah, well the actors will just wear a mask." No, that's not true. There's much more involved.
Right.
Than that.
Definitely.
I mean, I've always been the person when you walk into an onset, I don't go touching things.
Right.
You won't be able to touch things. That'll be going back to the scouting location person that was going to make sure that when he finds the place he's looking for, there's not too many touch points.
Right.
Where I can touch
Right.
You know,
and it's going to have to be disinfected and cleaned before the the set is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I had last week, 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to have someone. They were supposed to film some kind of episode or something of some show, and there was only going to be 5 or 6 people involved in the project. But the star didn't show up because he said 5 or 6 people were too many people on set.
Wow.
So I see a movie star's not wanting to do movies with more than so many people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna say just like he didn't show up, the movie star that was supposed to film in I have a huge loft in Philly. It's like 3,300 square feet, and they shoot movies here.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor didn't want to show up because he didn't want to be around 5, 6 people. So these people were necessary on set. And I have there's a scout coming, a location scout coming here to scout out the location to see if there's not, if it's spacious enough to shoot something here.
Right.
Or also, you wanted to make sure that the floors were a certain type of floor as opposed to a wood floor.
Right.
They're wood floors hold on to bacteria and stuff longer.
Mm-hmm.
So, so those things are going to a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
I sadly, I don't see 300 people on set when I film something.
Yeah.
I could copy and paste an audience back there. I don't need a crowd.
Okay.
Well, I need 5, 6 people.
I
can make it look like 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. CGI, copying and pasting, green screen. People are going to have to get creative again. And and the thing about it, those were the kind of things that they were doing and making work back when they didn't have CGI. Exactly. So they're going to have to go back to organic filmmaking and creativity to get it done. And I know everybody will, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more than actors. They're going to be wearing face masks all the time, so I'm not shooting. They're gonna have I see them bringing their own actors. Sometimes, there's different levels of actors. There's the stars, co-stars, all that stuff, featured background, and then there's the extras.
Right.
Is not wasting all this time putting on makeup and hair and all this stuff for background actors. You just blur them out.
Right. I read an article.
Yeah.
I read an article about that, and they was just saying that, the extra role is going to rather get cut down a lot and has the possibility of becoming extinct.
Yeah.
And, CGI and background and copying and pasting, like you said, and green screen. So,
it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. And we're going to have to, absolutely. We're going to have to put our best foot forward.
And, because insurance can be skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important. And this letter, this proposal, was sent to Gabriel Carreras, president of SAG. If they don't do anything, if they're not on top of it, people are going to railroad right over them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to, and they're not going to tell us why they don't need 300 background actors.
Right.
They only need 300 background actors because SAG was not on top of it.
Right.
Like with this, I'm on top of my game. I will survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? I will move forward.
That's it.
SAG has to do the same thing. How are they going to protect its paying members?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are, paying members.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They should have these things like equity already has a plan in place.
Right.
The actors' equity.
Yeah,
they know what they're going to do. That's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
It sure is.
But I think so is the film industry. But SAG has to be on top of it because as a paying member to SAG, I have no idea what's going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I sent this letter, but I haven't heard back from them.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
I don't know. Do they care? Do they not? I don't know.
Wow.
All I know is, SAG is even furloughing its own office members because there's no reason to have them there.
Yeah. But, one thing I can add is that I know that they have been sending out emails.
Yeah, they've been sending out
I know that we've been getting the updates and things like that. So they have been sending out emails and videos to try to do the best they can to keep people updated. And I think they had some kind of Zoom conferences that you could Zoom into and things like that. But like you said, it definitely has changed. And I did hear about the furlough situation. So yeah, it's like everything is definitely changing. Life as we know it is changing. And so yeah, we have to definitely stay tuned for that. I like what you said. You will survive because you got your A game going, and we're gonna have to put our best foot forward so we can be competitive enough to put ourselves in a position to get cast with these cut downs. You know what I mean? That seemingly seems to be coming. So
yeah.
But Mr. John, man, you've been a phenomenal guest, man. We might have to make this a part 2. We sitting over here taking notes, man, and just trying to glean from all the things that you shared. I know our listeners around the world has gotten a lot out of it. And we want to thank you so much, man, for sharing your wealth of knowledge and taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us. And so thank you so much.
I just going to say one thing. We've been through so much as a country, as actors. I've been there when there was AIDS and other kinds of pandemics, epidemics. We survived.
Right. Absolutely.
And we move forward. This too shall pass.
It will.
Amen.
It will.
It will.
It sure will.
It will.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, before you leave, man, how can you, if you want to put your website out there, put your acting school, put your book out there, put your social media, just take your time and put your stuff out there. Somebody over in India right now might say, hey, I want to Skype in with Mr. John and take your classes. Hey, man, this is your time to put it out there.
My books, my books, my films, my tutorials, my classes online and in person. It's johnpolattastudio.com, JOHNPALLOTTA studio, STUDIO.com, and all the information is there. I'm there to help people, and I encourage actors, if they don't study with me, study with somebody.
Right.
There's a lot of fine teachers out there. Mr. Kenneth McGregor, Mr. Tony Savant, Mr. Bernard Gowalski, Kathy Patterson, and look the other guy you mentioned.
Mr. Melvin Williams out of New York City. Yes, sir.
And study with them all.
Yes, sir. And yeah, we definitely want to say, man, that in the near future, Nikee and I will be making our way around to your studio. Like I said, as we try to get as much teaching and learning as you can. And I got to throw out I Can Act Academy, Nikee Dillard. He got his acting class going on out there, man. So like you said, Philly got it going on. They got a lot of great actors and actresses and acting coaches. We got one on the line right now, Mr. John Polatta, and we will be making our way to your class in the near future. And we got to give you the bell before you go, man.
Yes.
You was that fantastic.
I'd be happy to come film you guys one of your shows so you can get that out there.
Okay.
Thank you so
much.
much.
I'll film. I got the equipment.
Okay. We saw your pictures, man. We know you got the equipment and the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I like even here, you could even use my place to do a show.
Wow.
If you want to make it go visual.
Okay.
It's a huge industrial loft with antique bicycles and cats.
Wow. Okay. I like cats.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right.
And an occasional lizard that my brother drops off.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's where you lost me.
It's like 2 feet.
I got you.
I don't mess with lizards now. We'll be doing this outside.
What I do, as long as they're encased, as long as they're behind glass or something.
That's the only
in
way.
In an aquarium. Yeah.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. Yeah. Well, all right, Mr. John, look, continued success and blessings to you, man. And we will definitely be in touch and talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. God bless it. Yes. All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
All right, take care. Yeah.
Man, he was just
bye, dear. Bye.
Bye. Take care. That was awesome.
Wasn't it awesome?
That was awesome.
He was just so awesome.
That was awesome, man.
Man, that proposal though.
That proposal is thorough.
That proposal is very thorough.
It's very, very thorough.
They better take note.
Yeah,
they better take note.
And I'm telling you. Yeah, and I mean, we have looked over the proposal. Like I said, he gave us a copy of it. Like I said, we definitely had to make it a part 2 because we might want to get into that proposal. He kind of touched on some things, a lot of things, in a kind of, touched on way. But the proposal is awesome. I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to definitely help. I can't see why nobody would want to pick it up, but he dropped out so many golden nuggets.
Yes, he did.
He dropped out so many golden nuggets, and I hate to put one over the other, but I love how this is the importance of not joining acting gangs,
right?
Because when you join an acting gang, you're only gonna get one perspective,
right?
And you get stuck on that one perspective, but there's more other perspectives out there that make us a better holistic actor. Now, one of the things he touched on was making the camera work for you.
Yep.
He talked about the technical, the angles, and whereas another acting coach might be on the monologue or the facial expressions. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad he said that because a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
They don't make that camera work for them.
You gotta make that camera work.
They don't make it work. They don't. So we just got 2 different lessons because Mr. Mel is teaching, that theatrical,
that's right.
And he's teaching that camera, and you take both of them and you put them together.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
so glad he did that. I'm so glad he said that.
Listen, I'm just sitting here marinating on just all the golden nuggets that he shared, and I mean, all you can do is say, "Wow!" I mean, he's trained under some of the best legends in the craft, in the game. And that he's translating that to his students. I mean, I checked out his website. He's got actors that are getting cast for shows like FBI.
Right.
I'm talking about co-starring roles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about and I'm not minimizing any role. But they're getting Orange is the New Black. FBI.
That's my show.
Just a lot of shows out there, man. Go to the website, check it out. If you're able to sign up for classes with any of those fantastic teachers. Nikee Dillard, Icon Acts Academy. Mr. Melvin Williams out of New York City. You got John Polatta in the Philadelphia. Mr. Ken McGregor. You got Bernard Glowski. You got Tony Savant. These are fantastic teachers who are going to teach you acting. And
the right way.
And if you can get around to getting them all, get them all.
Yep. I guarantee when you hit all of them, you're going to learn something different from everyone that you can take and put together.
That's it.
And become that actor that you've always wanted to be. What was that? Who did we have on our show when he was talking about that the actor knew that the camera was there? It was
Roy Carter. And he said they were looking into the camera. That's an acting no. That's an acting cardinal sin. Never look into the camera unless the director tells you.
Right? The actor found out where the cameras were, so he was like, turn it to
he was getting a shiny moment, wasn't he?
He was like,
He making sure he was going to
be or not to be.
That is the question. Yeah, man.
Wait a minute. Stop.
Right.
Stop the tape.
Right.
Wow.
Right. All right, cut. Somebody get this guy out of here.
Cut. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Now it's bad when a director say cut and they throw down their board.
Right. He said he slammed down. He slammed down the board. That was funny.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was true though. That was true. Yeah. That was very, very powerful, insightful, informative. Inspirational, encouraging, motivating as well. And I mean, it was just we were getting a wealth of knowledge, and he gets paid for that. You know what I mean? And y'all got it free here on the Kevin and Nikee show. So we need to give ourselves. I'm giving us the bell for, and we get the clap.
Oh, we get the clap.
That's
it's one of those things you say, where the camera at?
Where the camera at?
Right there? Okay. All right. And you start posing.
Who is this? Where the camera at? This camera on? I'm getting sick and tired of this, man.
Stop it.
Y'all taking me down.
See?
Let me stop.
I wasn't going to do it.
Nah. Let me stop playing. I'm getting on base.
I was thinking it. You said it.
See? You was thinking it. I did what you was thinking. So.
Yes, it was. Where the camera at?
Don't killing me, man. Yeah. Anyway, let me stop.
You got my face hurting. Stop.
But that was that. Yeah, I need to leave that alone. Let's stop. But it was a great interview.
Yes.
And very, very, very powerful.
Man, that was very good. Very good. Well. And I like we said, we get emails from SAG all the time. I can't wait to see what they come up with, because I'm telling you right now, if you had to fight for roles before, you're gonna be fighting for them roles now. Yeah. Because these film industries, they're gonna cut down. They're gonna cut down.
And that's why they're gonna cut down. That's why I asked them that question. How can we better prepare ourselves to give ourselves the best chance to get cast?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's always resume differentiation. So that's always an issue. Yep. So
please have a job.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, if it was rough before, it's going to be rough now, because all of the film industry, these companies, production companies, they have to find another way now to get their films done.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have to find another way. But it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. But the question is, with how many people?
Right.
With how many people? Right. And now CGI is going to be worked like a mother, So,
and CGI is so good now.
It is.
It can look like it's real people. Like you remember when they did green screen back in the day, you can kind of see the outline of the person's head, and you knew it was green screen. But now you can't even tell. You look at movies like Transformers, you can't tell that they're not. Optimus Prime is not standing right there. And the actors, of course, are doing a phenomenal job of bringing it to life, looking in the right direction, looking up, and things like that.
And you only need a few of them. Just position them in the right places and just fill those other spots with CGI. Look at Black Panther.
Right.
They only had those actors on the bottom, I would say the bottom ledge. And then when you when the camera panned up, all them people wasn't standing up there like that.
You
that
serious?
Was CGI.
I thought that was real people.
Whatever.
Man.
Did I spoil it?
No, what I'm trying to say is...
I did. Did I spoil it for you guys?
No, but that's good, because it looks so real.
Yeah,
it looked very, very real. Those people that was on those higher ledges look real.
Like that,
they look real. They look real, especially as you got like in the middle. They look like they were real people standing there. And
did I get myself in trouble?
No, you didn't get yourself in trouble. Everybody know it was CG. I think most people know it was CGI. Right. Probably except me. But
you didn't know that?
I thought they were real people. No. I really did thought they were real people because it looked so real. You know what I mean? Really? And the fact that they filmed it at Tyler Perry's studio, and his studio could be the only one that could pull something like that off. Yeah, because it's so large.
That was CGI.
That was look.
Yeah,
that's
it was some good CGI.
It was some good CGI. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how it's going. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be CGI.
Yeah.
And which basically means there's a lot of actors that's not going to be working.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part.
And a lot of
extras.
And non-union, more than likely. I'm going to say more than likely because you never know.
Yeah.
It's all about production needs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think there's going to always be some level of SAG represented on these big productions and SAG projects.
Yeah.
Because it's a SAG project. It has to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, man. So,
very good show.
That was a very good show. Yet another, great show.
Yeah.
And,
very good. Very good.
And I'm going to tell you, Nick, and, and I've shared this with you before. One of the things that I'm so proud about our show is that we bring the best of the best on our show.
Mm-hmm.
We help our listeners around the world by bringing on people who are professionals and experts in their field or decorated or simply excelling at what they're doing. Even if it's the guy down in Camden feeding the homeless and they're giving out information.
Right.
Information is powerful.
Right.
Information informs, it educates. Right. It keeps people in the know or gets people in the know and lets you know how to move forward. So every time we bring on guests like John Polatta, he's putting information out there that's going to help somebody. Whether we can see him or we talk to him or they talk back to us or not. And we're helping people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel so good about that. That's, we're helping people around the world in our industry and beyond.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
I feel good about it too.
Yeah.
I feel so good. We're going to get the bell.
We're going to give ourselves a bell. And we got to get the clap again. You know what? Sometimes you got to take I heard this saying, sometimes you got to take your right hand, put over your left shoulder, and say, pat yourself on the back and say, good
right.
job.
Good
you know
job.
What I mean? So,
good job.
All
or
right.
do what I do.
What?
Walk past the mirror and back up like, you go, girl.
like where the camera at? Where the camera? Right there? You go, girl.
You go, girl.
You go, boy. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break?
Yep, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it's going to be time for News and Sports.
Scholars Professional Editing Firm consists of a specialized group of academic doctors, editors, and statisticians that keep doctoral candidates moving through the academic doctoral process. The Scholars Group accepts doctoral dissertations, capstone projects, premise, research studies, research proposals, research papers, and oral defense preparations and presentations. The Scholars offer both qualitative and quantitative research assistance, data analysis, dissertation editing, writing support, and mentorship throughout their bootcamp 8-week online program. The Scholars Professional Editing Group will keep you moving. For more information, visit www.thescholarsedediting.com. That's www.thescholarsedediting.com or contact Dr. Tamika Haynes at 281-315-6053.
All right. I'm going to have my own production company, and it's going to be starring me, by me, for me, about me.
and you're going to play all the roles.
I'm going to play all the roles.
The lead, supporting.
That's it.
The extras.
That's it.
And the feature.
That's it. And I'm going to split the screen so you can see everybody in action.
Right.
All 5 of myself in action. That's what I'm going to do.
That sounds like six tuplets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have on different hair and makeup for every single part.
Yeah. I thought Marlon Wayans did a fantastic job.
He did, man.
But here's the difficulty. I mean, because you got to look at the degree of difficulty. He played 6 characters, played by himself, and they all were different.
Yes.
They you didn't see the same guy in all the characters.
Yeah.
And then when various different characters were interacting with various different characters, they were definitely different.
Yes.
And I said, man, that's an artist right there, man.
Which one was your favorite?
Russell. My name is Russell.
No,
Russell was my favorite one.
My favorite was Dawn.
When
she was scraping her nails on it.
I'm about to bring the wolf out. I'm about to bring the wolf out.
Yeah. Dawn was my favorite. She told Russell he got fibroids in his diet. She said, you got fibroids. She said, you need more iron in your diet. That movie was hilarious.
That was good.
He did a very good job.
He did a fantastic job.
He actually on Instagram, you talk to him, he'll talk back to you.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he was asking people which was their favorite characters, and people were quoting, some, and I did a quote. He said, "Oh, you like that part?" I was like, "Yep."
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, he'll talk back to you.
Look, I got nothing but love and respect for the Wayans family.
Yeah.
That's just a very, very talented
creative
family. Wayans Brothers was definitely one of my favorite shows. Sean and Marlon, and then I gotta give a shout out to the matriarch Keenan, man. He paved the way for all of them. In Living Color. Remember that?
In Living Color.
Yeah, man. Got to give a shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
For paving the way for his brothers. And then, of course, now they all doing their own thing, whether it be writing, producing, making movies.
Yeah. But Keenan worked with him on Sextuplets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he more behind the scenes now.
Yep. They all come together and they all work with each other. But I'll tell you right now, if y'all didn't get a chance to see it, it's a video. Keenan got this video up on Instagram where he wanted to do a chat with somebody, a Zoom chat, and he forgot.
Marlon or Keenan?
No, it was Keenan.
Okay.
He was trying to do a Zoom chat, so he's asking his son how to do the camera. And when you do the Zoom chat, it only gets you from the chest up. Well, he forgot his bottoms.
Okay.
He forgot his bottoms.
Okay.
And so when he stood up to walk away, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, somebody get the camera.
Right.
And the poor son came running from him. He was like, oh, you ain't supposed to do that.
Right.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. I was like, oh my God. That right there. Y'all gotta do better with these Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Y'all gotta figure this thing out.
Yeah,
because y'all
figure out the
process
process from start to finish first.
Yes,
you know
before you
before you get up, push some button and turn it off.
Do something. Yeah. Oh my! Because his whole birthday suit was out.
Okay,
I mean, completely out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God! Did somebody not show him how to work?
Well, he old school. I mean, he old school. And how did we get on this? How did we get on this topic? Anyway,
but it was just funny.
It was
because we've been talking about the family. So shout out to the family because they look out for each other.
Yeah, they keep it in the family.
Yeah, they keep it in the family. They look out for each other. They look out for each other.
And they even brought on the next generation of Waynes. Yeah, it's just I've always had, even before I got into acting, I've always had a lot of love and respect for them because they were like, it was almost like a family business.
Yeah.
And they kept it in the family, and they said it is tons of Waynes. Like a lot of the extras that you see in the background.
It's a lot of them.
It's a lot of them. And Keenan tries to look out for all of them.
Yeah, it's a lot of them Waynans. The Waynans boys. There's a lot of them. Yeah. So shout out to them, and they're doing their thing. Started with the brothers on down to the sons and the nephews and different things like that. And the sister, she even gets in there and does some things. Right. So shout out to them. They're doing their thing. Yep. So what we got?
We got sports.
We got news and sports.
Let's
do it.
All right. So in sports, COVID-19 and sports update: NBA will permit player testing, NFL scheduling flexibility, and more. Mm-hmm. All right. So there was an article by Brett Taylor, Chicago Bulls. He said, I know we keep hearing the reports about testing still being in short supply for those who need it, but the national tracking data indicates that we are actually getting to a level of testing where we can start to have our hands around the actual scope of this virus spread. So under 10% of total tests have come back positive over the past 4 days. So how can both of these things be true at once? Well, he said his best guess is that it means some areas of the country have plenty of testing available to anyone who needs it, while other areas of the country still do not have enough. So that would certainly track with the way the pandemic has been treated in this country. Minimum nationally coordinated response, almost entire reliance on local response, including the source of testing, PPE, et cetera, et cetera. So then it probably is inaccurate to say we now have enough testing capacity in the United States, because you need the capacity everywhere to really be able to, kind of put a pulse on this thing. So you can track the virus well enough to open things up. So basically what's happening is more testing development in certain areas than it is others. So how can you give a kind of totality, a report in totality about what the true numbers are when there's more testing in some areas and not? And that's pretty much what he's saying. Right. So he says some areas, though, are clearly doing better on this front than others. So NBA will permit asymptomatic testing in some cases. So the reason this decision is so huge is that you cannot possibly bring sports back safely until you can test players and personnel that do not appear sick. Right. And they call it prophylactically test players. So we know that the novel coronavirus can spread among people who aren't showing signs of sickness, which means if you're going to be in close quarters training alongside other people, you have to know. And you have to know this with confidence and with immediacy who is carrying the virus. And that's one of the things that's kind of misleading too, because you have people who are who do have the virus, but they're not showing any symptoms of fevers and things like that, but they're carrying it around.
And that's because they're not being tested?
Is that they have the virus, they don't know, because they're not being tested. Okay. Or they don't have access to it, or it's not adequate, or they're just not going.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. That sticking the swab up the nose, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people are not, going to get tested, because it's painful.
That's what I heard.
It's painful. Now, if they can come out with another test, maybe what do you call it? Prick the finger or something?
Right. Like about diabetes.
Yeah, prick the finger. Okay, I'll get my finger pricked before I use sticking something up my nose. Right. I'm not doing that.
And from what I hear, they sticking it way up
and
there.
My thing is, that is, one of our friends did that,
right.
And she said it hurts.
Right.
No, well, that's probably why, I'm going to infer that that's probably why a lot of people are not going to get tested, because they don't want you sticking anything up their nose.
Right. Yep. So then, in locations where there's enough supply of testing, not to take any away from those who most need it, the NBA is saying, yes, teams, you are permitted to source and use tests for your own purposes. So this is the PR risk that was always looming for all sports, and the NBA is just going first. So on the one hand, it's a necessary step to protect players and employees. On the other hand, it's not likely every business can go out and get, prophylactic testing, which will help protect the employees too.
Right.
So we'll see how this, bakes and quakes out in the public eye, because as he said, I guarantee all other sports are watching very closely, and they're going to determine, hey, should we follow suit? Right. Super Bowl flexibility means schedule flexibility. Super Bowl 55 is currently scheduled for February 7th, 2021, and it, like the rest of the just drop schedule, is unchanging right now by the pandemic. But the league is keeping open the possibility for enormous flexibility in when the Super Bowl is actually played. Because the Super Bowl is just one game, it's relatively easy to push it back a week or two, or 8 if necessary. Thus, because the marquee event is so pliable, the NFL has the flexibility to push back the start of the season by upwards of 2 months without really causing any serious issues. So the early season game will just be shifted, to the back half of the schedule. Although Adam Schefter's report does not make this point exactly, I will is what my man here, Brett Teller, is saying. He said, if the league is insistent on having, and he put in quotations, some fans at their games for at least, in quotations again, some of the season, then they are almost assured of having to push back as much of the season into next year as possible. Get ready for an NFL regular season that runs through February and a whole lot of cold weather games.
Wow.
So that's it.
All right, we'll see what happens.
We keep everybody posted on what's going to happen. And like I said, the NBA is saying, hey, we'll go first. We'll go first and trying to take a stab at this thing. And so you got Major League Soccer, baseball, NFL, hockey. They're all watching this to see if it's going to work. And from what I, been reading, online and from talking to people, they say that whenever there's a pandemic, and also watching, the reports on TV, you have this surge of cases like we've had. Then you have this drop in cases. Then everybody kind of move back towards normalcy. Right. Then you have another surge. So it's like we have to prepare ourselves for this next surge that's coming. And so continue to wear your mask, continue to wear your gloves, continue to practice social distancing. People are still not wearing their masks and practice social distancing. We got another surge coming. You heard it here on the Kevin and Nikee show.
That's right.
If you didn't hear it on the reports.
That's right.
Another surge is coming when we go back to normalcy.
Yep.
Because people are going to have to move back in close proximity. This is a virus that's not going anywhere because they don't have the cure. At least so it's been said and shared.
I'm still going to wear my mask and gloves to work.
Yeah, me too.
I am. I'm going to, when we go back into the office, because I've had the pleasure of, working from home. When we go back into the office, I'm still going to wear a mask. Yeah. I'm going to have on my mask and my gloves because my thing is, we're in close proximity of each other.
That's right.
I'm going to put it on.
Yeah. All right.
That's it.
All right.
Well, in news, Baltimore Ravens Earl Thomas was held at gunpoint.
Wow.
By who? His wife.
Oh, wow.
His wife. Here's the story. Here's the tea if you haven't heard it already. Okay, so Earl and his brother went over to another house. And his wife got into, I think, his Snapchat or whatever she got into to pinpoint his whereabouts. So she gets to this house and she goes in, and Earl is in the bed bucket naked with who? Not one, not two, but Trey girls.
Oh my
He's
God.
in the bed butt naked with 3 girls. His wife pulled out that gun. It was loaded. She said she didn't know it was loaded. She said she didn't know that the safety wasn't on, and
goodness.
she had her finger on the trigger.
Oh my goodness.
So one wrong move, she could have pulled it and shot him in the head. But he jumped out of the bed or whatever. He was able to get the gun from her or whatever. And she's chasing him around, trying to hurt him because she caught him. She caught him cheating. Now, here's my thing. This happened while we're supposed to be social distancing. Okay, so
no social
distancing going on there. You in the bed with 3 girls. There was no social distancing going on that day.
It was some social distancing.
Get on my nerve. Well, let me tell you, Earl is heated. Earl is not upset at the fact that his wife caught him cheating. He's the fact that we saw it.
Oh, okay.
That's it. We saw it.
Right.
Because, the video has gone viral. So we saw it. So he's upset. And then, he had to go on TMZ and he had to explain it to TMZ and different things. And Earl put out this this video.
A statement, an apology.
No, it wasn't
an apology.
No, he was like, I don't understand why my business is all out in the street. Well, Earl, did you think before you went out to all the ladies' houses? And apparently, from what I understand, now listen now, I don't know for sure, but apparently the house that he went to is a house that he owned and he houses the ladies.
Oh, wow.
So... But we're going to find out. We're going to find out, do a little bit more research on that. But that's what they were, that has been the talk of Facebook. Okay. That's his another house other than the house that he owned with the wife and the children. And he houses the ladies for his pleasure. Wow. What is it called? A harem?
I don't know. I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Well, let's call up Tiger Woods and ask him. But
the worst thing I could have did was explain the definition of what you asked me. I don't know what it is.
You don't know. Clean it up.
You see, it's like this the way it worked, right? So you do that. Messed up.
Wow.
Not getting cash for nothing else. Man.
Anyway, so it's just, man, I tell you, and it's something going on where this pandemic is doing something to people where they got people calling up their exes. Can you come quarantine with me? The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. Let me tell you something. The cow will have to jump over the moon 18,000 times before I make any phone calls. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. I'd rather be by myself. For real. So, I mean, people don't want, I don't know. I don't know. So, Earl, I don't know, brother. I don't know what to tell you. But charges has, Earl doesn't want to press charges against his wife, but the state may do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But she has been ordered to stay away from the home, stay away from him. So what is it? A restraining order? Yeah. He didn't issue the restraining order. Earl didn't. The state did. The state issued the restraining order.
Here's another thing that, while I can understand why she was highly upset, angry, maybe acted impulsively, thank God she didn't pull the trigger.
Thank God.
Nobody got killed.
Thank God.
Given all things in this really, really bad situation, she could end up possibly losing custody of her children.
Not only that, but
you see what I'm saying?
The state pressed charges on it. She can end up going to jail for a long time.
Right.
Because the gun was loaded.
Right.
And although she said she didn't know it was loaded, but it was an actual gun in the trigger.
Right. A bullet.
Not a gun.
Chamber,
it was an actual bullet in the chamber. Yeah. And had she just moved her finger just a little bit, she could have shot him in the head. Yeah. So they're still trying to figure out how they want to work this out and different things like that. But right now, she has been ordered to stay away. Yeah. So, and I think Earl is still seeing the children and different things like that. But right now, he's not pressing charges, against his wife for what has happened. But, she caught him. She caught him.
And I'm sure all the women is out there, like, cheering her on.
Well, you know what?
You know what I'm saying? In terms of being, they can kind of understand the anger. Mm-hmm. They can understand. They can, especially those that have gone through the same thing. They can identify with that. So they're going to see it one way, and that's understandable. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that it's understandable. So, but it's an unfortunate situation. All angles, not minimizing or taking away the responsibility that Earl played in this thing, because she was the innocent party in the situation.
And the thing, and the thing is, nobody want to catch their loved one cheating. Yeah. A man doesn't want to catch his woman cheating, and a woman don't want to catch her man cheating. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those things where that cheating thing, man, I tell you, that's just a mess. Yeah. It's just a mess. So it's we're gonna keep you guys posted on this story. Yeah. We're going, give you some updates when we get them. But thank God she did not pull the trigger, because had she did, Earl would be gone. Yeah. And she would be heading up, to jail probably for the rest of her life. Mm-hmm. And, someone else would have to raise the children. But, we're going to see how this thing play out. But thank God, she didn't pull the trigger. And but here's the thing, though. He was able to get the gun from her, right? Mm-hmm. But there's this other thing where he's trying to get the gun from her, and she, she's pulling back. She's pulling back. The gun could have fired. Yeah. So thank God none of that happened. But that's a real bad. That's situation. A real bad situation. Yeah. That's a real bad situation. Mm-hmm. We're just gonna stop talking about that. They're gonna have to work that out. Mm-hmm. In other news, Philadelphia Senator Williams he's working on a proposal to get the barbershops owners and the salons back to work. Yeah. So there's some guidelines that they're going to have to follow in order to open up their barbershop and open up their salons. Because like we've been talking, Kev, we talked before, and what is the safest way to cut somebody's hair? Because you're standing right over them. Right. What is the safest way to do somebody's hair? Again, you're standing right over them. What is the safest way to do someone's nails? You're right over them. So they're going to have to, I guess, figure out how they're going to do it. Yeah. But with the nail salon, I will say with the nail salon though, they wear the mask. Yeah, they always wear masks because because of the fumes from, the powder and different things like that. So they always, wear masks, but I guess they're going to have to start wearing gloves now too. Right. And I guess in terms of sanitizing the utensils or whatever that they use, they're going to have to start doing that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But and
it's the same with on-set hair and makeup. Mm-hmm. So, this is just not something that has to do with the industry. It's going to affect a lot of other industries, like you said, including barbershops, hair salons, especially. So, yeah. And so the barbershops, the salons, and the nail salons, he's putting together a detailed list that they would have to follow and get in order before they can open. Because it's to my understanding that Philadelphia is the last place to open. Yeah, it's going to be one of the last cities to open. So right now, the target date is June the 4th. And I heard about that story, and there were people firing back at him, asking him, "Oh, what about this? And how you expect to practice social distancing when someone's cutting somebody's hair?" So while I understand his approach to try to get the, kind of like they're like independents, barbershop,
the independents,
beauty salons and things like that, because that's their business. That's how they pay their bills.
That's how they make their money, yeah.
But what do you do, when you have a pandemic that requires, 6 feet in terms of distancing? Yeah. So I would be interested in reading what his proposal is going to be. Yeah. That'd be, how he's going to get around certain things. So
yeah, because when you guys get your beards done,
they right up in
your face. Yeah. Right up in your personal space. Yeah. It's one thing for them to be behind you cutting your hair. But when you're getting your beard done and your mustache and everything shaped, they're right up in your face. They have to line it, quite nicely. And you guys be looking so handsome when you get your beards and your mustache done. But in order to get that, you're right up in the face. So I don't know how that's going to work. So like you said, it would be interesting to read his proposal, but he's working on it. He's working on it. And, because he's trying to get everybody, these independent contractors back to work. Back to work. That's it. That's all I have. Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, it's going to be time for my favorite part of the show. We're going to find out what's bothering Nikee. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio.
We're everywhere. And we'll be back.
Me everything and everything you've given me, I always keep it inside. You're the driving force in my life. Yeah. There isn't anything or anyone that I could be, and it just wouldn't feel right if I didn't have you by my side. Oh, you were there for me to love and care for me when skies were gray. Whenever I was down, you were always there to comfort me. And no one else can be what you have been to me. You will always be the girl in my life for all time. Mama, you know I love you. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Yes, he said, Mama, I just want you to know, loving you is like food to my soul. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, you're always down for me, have always been around for me, even when I was bad. You've shown me right from my wrongs. Yes, you did. And you took up for me when everyone was down on me. You always did understand. You gave me strength to go on. There were so many times looking back when I was so afraid. And then you come to me and say to me, I could face anything. And no one else can do what you've done for me. You'll always be, you will always be the girl in my life. Ooh, oh, Mama, you know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you. Mama, ooh, Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know. Mama, I just want you to know. Loving you is like food to my soul. Never gonna go a day without you. Fills me up just thinking about you. I'll never go a day without my mama.
it right there.
Classic.
Food to my soul.
It's classic. Classic.
Now you know that she got to be something. She food to your soul,
That's
man.
That's it. Yeah, man.
Food to your soul.
That's it. Boys the men. Boys the men. Boys the men.
ABC, BBD.
The East Coast family. What it used to be. Yeah. But yeah, that's soul food. That's soul food.
Yes.
That's the soundtrack to Soul Food. Boys the Men, Philly Zone. Shout out to Boys the Men.
ABC, BBD.
Yeah. You ain't just singing these today.
Well, you know, Boys the Men, ABC, BBD, who put them together?
Michael Bivins.
That's right.
I know my history
That's
now.
Right.
Michael
Boys
Bivins.
Men, ABC, BBD.
That's right, because they were with Boys the Men was with Michael Bivins before they went to Motown Records.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Yes. Okay, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know, you know.
Okay.
Versed on a little Philly news, you know what I'm saying? Philly history, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what, man? I had the chance to meet and play in a celebrity basketball game with Wanye.
Mm-hmm.
Real cool, down to earth guy. And I had the chance to meet Nate. I never met Sean. I used to play in the Sunny Hill League down at McGonigal Hall, Pierce Hall. And you know, he was sitting at the scores table, man. Mm-hmm. And you know, went over there, shook his hand, and he knew who I was, man. I was, you know, very, very humbled and honored by that. And it kind of served, you know, some motivation to go out there and put on a little show. And a show I did put on.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Come on,
you
now.
better go ahead.
Come on. Yeah.
He said, I put on a show, baby.
You know what I mean? I could let him down. You know
he said, so there won't be any mistakes of what happened.
I wanted to be disappointed. I wanted them to be entertained. Entertained, I did. Yeah, it was good. But it was motivating and encouraging. You know, because I didn't know if he knew, you know, who I was or not. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And it was just real inspirational. That I was like, wow, because I'm a fan of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you basically walked in there. I'm the star in this.
Like
time.
I walked over there, like doing, like, you know, while the game was going on. You know, just walking up court, just walked over and just shook his hand. What's up? You know, what's up, Mike? You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
What's up,
go ahead.
I was
go
like,
ahead.
oh. I was hype.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
Just a little story.
That's more than just a little story. Show off.
But I will say that they filmed a concert. They filmed a video here in Fillmore Park. Mm-hmm. And a couple of my basketball buddies was actually bodyguards for them as they were walking them to the stage. Rasheed Wallace came out. So I had a chance to see them walk by. And Wanye's mom was out there like, y'all better not hurt my son. You know, she was out there holding it down. Like, y'all better not. Because they had like a police barricade. And they had to walk through the police barricade. And they had fans on both sides, like cheering them on. Like they were going to the stage. It was dope. Yeah. Rasheed Wallace walked out on stage.
Okay.
Yeah, man. They're part of Philly history, man. And,
yes, they are.
You know,
yes, they are.
As they just say in biblical time, can any good thing come out of Jerusalem? Can anything good thing come out of Philly?
Listen,
man,
shout it down. Don't get me to shout now.
You know what I'm saying?
You done tore this carpet up.
For real. But anyway, now it's time for my favorite part of the show. We're gonna find out what's bothering Nikee. What's bothering you?
Well, it was bothering me, but it's not bothering me anymore. Mm-hmm. I am not one of those people who, put my business out on Front Street. Mm-hmm. I'm not the type of person who just feels as though everything needs to be on Facebook. But we're in the middle of this, pandemic. And, while we're praying for others, people are losing their loved ones left and right. Mm-hmm. My mother came down with the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. My mother is a nurse and she works in hospice care. She came down with the coronavirus and her fever was well over 100. It was like 102. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, we could not get her fever down. And it felt like it just seemed like the fever. It started out at 101. Then instead of going down, it went up to 102. And that really scared us. Mm-hmm. And, we were working overtime, trying to nurse her. My brothers and I have 4 brothers and I have 2 sisters. And majority of my family live in Philadelphia around my mother. So when we all found out that she had come down with the coronavirus, we didn't waste any time coming together to put a plan in play to get her better. My brothers were constantly over there around the clock. I don't live in Philadelphia, so my brothers didn't want me to constantly travel up and down 95 to get to my mother's house, although I was doing it anyway. Mm-hmm. But they didn't want me to constantly travel up and down 95 to get to her. They were doing some things. I was going over, doing some things, and, trying to get that fever down. We kept giving her water, soup, vitamin C's, to build up her immune system. It's one thing when someone says, oh, my loved one had the coronavirus, but it's another thing when now it's on your doorstep. Mm-hmm. It's totally different now, because it's like, okay, we gotta do something. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a scary moment. Yeah. It's a very scary moment, because one of the things, my mother said, she said, I feel so sick and I feel so weak. I can barely keep my head up. And she said, I don't want to die. Mm-hmm. That's what you don't want to hear from your parent. Mm-hmm. You don't want to hear them say, I don't want to die. Mm-hmm. And that it broke me a little bit, because that's my mom. Mm-hmm. That's my mother. So I went over to her house, and you know how when we're kids and your mother say, clean the kitchen up. Mm-hmm. And we go in the fits. Oh, I don't feel like cleaning the kitchen up. Mm-hmm. Well, my mother, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. My mother used to wait until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, mm-hmm. when it was our day to do the dishes, and we would go to sleep without cleaning up the kitchen. My mother would wait until 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and she would do it because she's normally getting up with God around that time. Mm-hmm. She would wake us up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and make us clean the kitchen, mm-hmm. because we fell asleep without cleaning the kitchen. And that little crying dance you used to do, little have a fit. Well, when I was over my mother's house and I was cleaning up, the cleanup took on a different meaning. Mm-hmm. It took on a different meaning, because now it's before, when I was young, I didn't want to clean the kitchen. I felt as though I was made to clean the kitchen. Now I'm cleaning the kitchen with so much love in my heart for her, because now this pandemic is on our doorstep, and it was just so much love, trying to get her better, and her fever finally went down. Mm-hmm. It finally went down. And I remember talking to the ER doctor, and he said, everything you and your brothers are doing is perfect. Keep it going. You got to get that fever down. And the fever finally came down. But just the scary part of thinking that we were going to lose her, because we've lost so many people already. Right. And just the scary part of thinking that we were going to lose her, that brought my brothers and I together, and we came together to take care of my mother. And I'm happy to say that she's feeling much better. She's still a little weak, but she's feeling much, 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 much better. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of those things that I don't ever want to experience again. Mm-hmm. So people, you have to wear your mask, because we're losing people all over the place. And you got to wear your gloves. You just have to do it. There's no other way of getting around it. We have to stop this pandemic. My mother wears her mask and her gloves, but it was still on our doorstep. Mm-hmm. So we got to follow the rules, wear the mask. You coming in to see your loved ones in the hospital, wear your mask. There's no other way of getting around it. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to say that my mother, she's feeling better. Thank God for that. She's feeling much better. We got plans. Yeah. We got plans. She and I, we got plans. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, I can't be here without her. Mm-hmm. I can't be here without her.
Yeah. Praise report just in time for Mother's Day.
Just in time for Mother's Day. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I can't be here without her. So, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Yeah. Well, we are just, thanking God for that. Mm-hmm. And, as our, thoughts and prayers continue to be with her, and, getting her total strength back. Stuff like that. And then, like I said, moving to that back end plan, mm-hmm. how you're going to move forward. Yep. So yeah, that's great stuff. Yeah. That's good to hear. Yeah. So many people out there, like you said, has died. Yeah. And those were the not so good stories. Right. And it's just good to hear some refreshing stories that people are surviving, people are fighting, people are making it through. Mm-hmm. Keep fighting, keep fighting and keep fighting.
Yep. Keep fighting.
Good stuff.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, it's going to be time for my favorite part of the show, Kevin's Corner. It's the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. And we'll be right back.
You all appreciate it. When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. Suspended from school, I'm scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys, breaking all the rules. Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was poor than other little kids. And even though we had different daddies, the same drama when things went wrong, we blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And who thinking elementary? Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whooping to my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. I finally understand, for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed, a poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it, there's no way I can pay you back. But the plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you, sweet
dear mama.
Place no one above you,
you all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you?
Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair. No love from my daddy cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for a father, he was gone. I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. I moved out, started really hanging. I needed money of my own, so I started slanging. I ain't guilty, cause even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. I love paying rent when the rent's due. I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent to you. Cause when I was low, you was there for me. You never left me alone because you cared for me. And I can see you coming home after work late. You're in the kitchen trying to fix us a hot plate. You're just working with the scraps you was given. And mama made miracles every Thanksgiving. But now the road got rough, you're alone. You're trying to raise two bad kids on your own. And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you, sweet
and dear mama,
place no one above you,
you all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you?
Pour out some liquor and I reminisce, cause through the drama I can always depend on my mama. And when it seems that I'm hopeless, you say the words that can get me back in focus. When I was sick as a little kid, to keep me happy, there's no limit to the things you did. And all my childhood memories are full of all the sweet things you did for me. And even though I act crazy, I gotta thank the Lord that you made me. There are no words that can express how I feel. You never kept a secret, always stayed real. And I appreciate how you raised me and all the extra love that you gave me. I wish I could take the pain away. If you can make it through the night, there's a brighter day. Everything will be alright if you hold on. It's a struggle every day, gotta roll on. And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you, sweet
dear mama,
place no one above you,
you all appreciate it.
Don't you know we love you, sweet
dear mama, dear mama.
You're listening to the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio.
All right.
Dear mama.
Dear mama.
What my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Man, he's a lyrical genius.
Yeah, man.
Lyrical genius, man.
That is one lyrical of the Mother's Day anthems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Mother's Day has an anthem. Christmas has an anthem.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Christmas. For me, it's not Christmas until I hear Nat King Cole.
Right.
Nat King Cole.
Can we stay on Mother's Day?
Okay, fine.
We on Mother's Day right now. You know what I'm
saying? Fine.
Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, that's the anthem.
Yeah. We'll get to Christmas. We'll get to Christmas in December.
That one and the other song. I always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. You only one. Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's the anthem.
Listen, that's one of the Mother's Day anthems, man.
Yep. And the other song, but he messed that up, so I ain't gonna talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna talk about it. I ain't gonna say his name. Messed it up. But yeah, that's one of the anthems, man. That's one of the anthems. You know, they run. Let me tell you, these songs, they run for a whole week, all the way up until Mother's Day.
Yeah, they sure
do. They run it for a whole week, all the way up. Yes.
Awesome.
All right. You see me shaking because I cannot wait for Kevin's Corner. I'm so eagerly and patiently waiting on what you want to say. So you know what time it is? It's time for Kevin's Corner.
All right. So we're going to keep the high vibration train moving.
Choo-choo.
We in week 57.
57. Seven.
That's how you say it down.
7.
57. We're looking at 2 more characteristics, number 92 and 93. The first one is going to be the teachable quality. We're still dealing with signs that one is operating on a high vibration and frequency in life, and we're going to start off with the teachable quality. So it is that quality of what they would call a teachable spirit or attitude. Mighty warriors who desire to go deeper are teachable. Such a desire is much more than just a willingness to listen. We become teachable when our desire to receive wisdom is greater than our desire for comfort. And we know that when we take these acting classes and things like that, they're going to take you out your comfort zone. I've had experiences on set where the director said, you know what? You got to give me a little bit more. I want you to go in deeper. I want you to go a little bit closer. And we learned that in acting, you're going to have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that part of that is having a teachable quality. You know, when you stop growing and developing, that really is the day that you die, even if you are still alive.
Yeah.
And, we can't live like or act like we've arrived and or know it all.
Yep.
Just with acting, it's kind of like one of them things where we're always growing, learning, developing, if we're pursuing and having a teachable spirit, but we're never arriving. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how many awards you win, how many IMDb credits you get, you can still learn something new. I learned some new things on the show today, listening to, the great John Polatta. You know what I mean? And so, we need to have that teachable quality and that hunger to learn and continue to develop and mature. And as a result, the next quality would be the sponge quality. The sponge quality in the business world, a sponge is someone who is tirelessly driven to seek and absorb new information. In general terms, this means someone who is highly curious, possibly even somewhat observative about gathering data and learning from it. They just want to get better and get better and better, and they soak up information and they take it and they learn it and they apply it, and they repeat this cycle of being teachable and being a sponge. And what you get out of that is called greatness in the end. That's all I got.
Nice.
And as my brother who we've had on the show would say, our brother Wolf Senior.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Go and be great."
Yes.
So I'm gonna take a chapter out of his book. Be teachable, be the sponge. Travis Wolf Senior said, "Go and be great."
Yep.
I like giving credit where credit is due.
That's
you know
right.
I ain't no plagiarizer.
That's right.
I'm not no plagiarizer. And he has an awesome podcast show.
Yes, he does.
He got an awesome, inspirational, motivational podcast show. Check him out, Travis Wolf Sr. We had him and his super talented son and his super talented daughter Anaya and Travis Wolf Jr. And we even had the Eli E. Luke. Remember we had them on? And we had Diane on there. We had the group on there, man.
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah. It was a great show. So I just want to give him a shout out. That's it. That going be great thing had me on that path. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just had one. And then little Ariel doing her little thing with her little cute self. Well, she be on Facebook with a little ice cream and taking a little poses. She got a lot of personality, man. And so they got a really talented family. So that's all I have.
All right.
All right.
Well, you know what time it is.
What's that?
It's time for the end of the show.
It's the time. Oh, time.
I
know. Where the camera at? Y'all killing me, man. Sorry, no, stop. Anyway, so we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And listen, you guys are continuously in our thoughts and prayers. Look, we're not out of this pandemic yet, but this too shall pass, and we're going to get through it. We are just grateful and thankful that we can put a smile on your face, make you laugh, give you some information that can distract you from the negativity that's going on and maybe surrounding you. We're happy about that, and we appreciate you. We do what we do for you. We can't do what we do without you, and therefore you guys are our inspiration, motivation, encouragement, and we thank you for tuning in each week and being faithful followers of the Kevin and Nikee Show. And we're going to keep bringing y'all hot guests, hot music, hot topics, just stuff that's just hot. That's it. Yeah, it's hot like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm actor Kevin D. Benton. You can follow me on Twitter at Kevin D. Benton, on Facebook, Kevin D. Benton, on Instagram, actor Kevin D. Benton. All right. On Instagram, actor Kevin D. Benton. And you can find us on YouTube. Subscribe. We'll subscribe back. Actor Kevin D. Benton, actress Nikee Warren.
Yeah. You can find me on Facebook, Nikee Warren, on Twitter at Nikee Warren, and on the gram. Hello, I'm Nikee. That's spelled HELLOIMNIKEE. You can find our show, The Kevin Nikee Show, on Facebook at Kevin Nikee Show on Twitter, and The Kevin Nikee Show on Instagram. You know, we keep it simple so that you can find us. We say it all the time. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding our show, hit us up, KevinNikkeeShow@yahoo.com. You got any questions, comments, concerns for our awesome guest today, John Polatta? Hit us up, KevinNikkeeShow@yahoo.com. We'll read it to him, get the answer, and read it back. And like we say every week, who knows your letter can be featured on our show. Listen, I hope you had an awesome time loving on your mamas. I know we were loving on our mamas from a distance, but let me tell you, thank God for our mamas. Thank God for the mamas. It's the Kevin Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere, and we are out of here. Peace. And love with some hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease. Love, peace, and hair grease. I was the echo this week.
Sometimes I feel so bad when I think of all the things I used to do. How mama used to clean somebody else's house just to buy me a new pair of shoes. I never understood how mama made it through the week when she never ever got a good night's sleep. Oh, she's one of a kind. You got yours and I've got mine. Oh, hey mama, my heart belongs to you. Yeah.
I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl.
You only get one girl.
I'll always love my mama. She born me in this world.
A mother's love is so special. It's something that you can't describe. It's the kind of love that stays with you until the day you die. She taught me little things like saying hello and thank you please, while scrubbing those floors on a bending knee. Oh, she's one of a kind. You got yours and I got mine. Hey mama, hey mama, my heart belongs to you. Yeah.
I'll always love my mama.
Yeah.
She's my favorite girl.
Only get one, you only get one, yeah.
I'll always love my mama. She brought me in this world.
I'm talking about mama.
I'll always love my
My sweet
mama.
old mama.
I'll always love my
Used to
mama.
scrub the floor
I'll always love my
on her
mama.
hands and knees.
I'll always love my
Used to
mama.
get a little rough sometimes.
I'll always love my mama.
Oh, mama.
I'll always love my mama.
Hey, sweet old mama.
I'll always love my
Said I
mama.
love you, I love you.
You have been listening to the Kevin and Nikee Show on iHeartRadio. We'll always love our mama. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. People say she's my favorite
All right, we'll do it
girl.
over there.
You
Do
only
it
get
over.
one. You
Only get one, yeah.
I'll always love our mama. She's
She's
my
our
favorite
favorite girl. Only get one, yeah.
We'll always love
Love
our
our
mama.
mama. We'll always love our mama. We'll always love our mama.
That's it. That was bonus.
Imagine not being able to fight off a cold. That's how life is for kids with immune disorders. They can't fight off infections without plasma-based therapies, but plasma can't be made in a lab. It only comes from healthy donors like you. By donating plasma at BioLife, you're helping to improve the lives of children living with immune conditions. Sign up to donate plasma today. It's safe, easy, and kids everywhere will thank you.
Thank you.
Learn more at biolifeplasma.com.
Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options. When my people are able to thrive, my business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.